Sauce Walka, rapper based out of Houston, Texas, label called the Sauce Factory, has been in the rap game for quite some time now. Makes pretty decent music. I like Sauce Walka. I like some of his music that he's made, but some of the things that he said has been questionable. And this is no different here, what we're talking about today. Of some of the things that he was saying on popular blogger Say Cheese channel on YouTube. Now, of course, I can't play the video because of copyrights, but you could go to Say Cheese and check out Sauce Walka and what he had to say over there. Now, if you don't know anything about Sauce Walka, he is a member of the street gang, the Bloods. He is not scared of saying that whatsoever. Everybody knows that about him. He puts that out there. He's not afraid to say it. He's definitely proud of it. While he appeared on Say Cheese, during the interview, Say Cheese asked him, is there anything positive about being in a gang? Now, this question came up because they were talking about Charleston White, and as everybody knows, Charleston White is also based in Texas, but he's really anti-street gang. So while he was being asked about Charleston White, he then was asked the question, is there anything positive about being in a street gang? Where Sauce Walka actually answered like a Pookie and a Ray Ray, and he said, well, yes, there are many positive things about being in a street gang. Now, if you've ever watched Not Useless podcast, we don't like the Pookies and the Ray Rays over here, because we do know that they cause more bad than good. They cause more than destruction than building in the community. Now, Sauce Walka, he's tried to explain as a Pookie and a Ray Ray. I had to call him that. I have to call him that, especially after this excuse. He did try to say that there were some positive things about a street gang. Now, if you listen to him, he's definitely reaching very far. It's like he's reaching for the stars here. Now, if you look back in Sauce Walka's history, he's been to college. I want to say his father was like a professional wrestler. It doesn't really sound like he had to come up in the trenches. It sounds like he chose to go in the trenches and be a part of these street gangs. So his mentality is a little bit warped there, because he was talking about certain things like moral character when he was referring to the benefits or the positive sides of street gangs. Now, there's nothing moral about a street gang whatsoever, okay? Maybe in the beginning when they started, after the civil rights movement, after you had some revolutionary groups, maybe there was a little bit of righteousness in there at that time, but shortly after that, it changed for the worse. So there isn't a lot of high morals when it comes to street gangs, because we do know that they do participate in illegal activities such as selling drugs and also taking other people's lives that are a part of their community. They do tear the community up. So him saying that there's high, a boy will learn high moral character and values from a street gang is just not the case. It's not the case, okay? Another thing that he was talking about was, this is how a boy gets into manhood, is he learns teamwork and camaraderie. Now, as we know, street gangs is always snitching on each other. They always snitching on each other. They always doing stuff against each other. So how can you learn teamwork and camaraderie if you got one part of the gang and everybody was together, but then one part splits off? Now they at each other's neck trying to kill each other. Come on now. Like, for a street gang, there's not really teamwork. There's not really camaraderie amongst each other, because when the police gets involved, everybody snitches and everybody flips for the most part. Another thing he was talking about was basically, he was really all over the place, because he's trying to say basically, a boy can find his way and find his manhood in a gang. He will understand and learn manipulative tactics from other people. Basically, things that a father would teach a son. Now, a lot of these kids that grow up in gangs or grow up in single mother households, a lot of them are lacking a lot of stuff. And then they go out looking for that family structure and that recognition from their peers So they try to join these gangs because they want to feel important. You know what they say? They say if you feel that you cannot succeed in the dominant society, you would then create a sub-society, i.e. gang, where you can actually have some type of importance or some type of rank. You know, if you feel like a nobody in regular society and you drop out of that society and you join a gang, you can become that stepper or that shooter, and people would be like, oh, that's such and such, he's a shooter, and that means something to somebody who's virtually a nobody. That's just a breakdown and a failure of the community, which gangs aren't going to help the community. Gangs actually split up and destroy the community. So basically the things that he was talking about were stuff that you would actually learn from a father. Okay, now why do I bring that up? Because there's a lot of females that's out here who will go and seek out the Pookies and the Ray Rays and the gangbangers and the street guys and have babies with them. And these are guys who live in high-risk lifestyles. These are guys who may spend the rest of their life in prison. They might lose their life in the street. So they're having babies with the guys who are not going to be there for the most part. So there is just a continuous cycle of BS. The gangs are the main corporates of this issue that's going on, because they breed the negativity, they breed the separation and the segregation of each other in the society, in the community. Sauce Walka was all the way wrong when he was talking about this. He knows that there's not many positive things about street gangs because he's been involved in them, he's been around them. He understands that there's a lot of losses that comes with being in street gangs. Now, if you was just a square and you was just doing things right, I mean, a lot of your homeboys would still be free. A lot of your homeboys would still be alive. And I'm not just talking about Sauce Walka, I'm talking about all guys who are in street gangs. If they just went the positive route with collectively, like if they were collective and they came together and they did stuff positive for the community, they wouldn't be a street gang. They would be basically a fraternity of some sort, which he was trying to say, like a gang ain't nothing but like a team. It ain't nothing but like a fraternity. He said sorority, but he meant fraternity. I mean, to a certain extent, he's right, but fraternities don't get out here and make each other worse, meaning bringing out the demon in each other. Like, gang members get kudos and they get rewards for being savages out in the street. Fraternities, they get rewarded for actually be upstanding members of society and in a certain sense. Now, like for college fraternities, not so much. Not while they're in school. A lot of them do a lot of partying and stuff. But you know, you have fraternities that's out here. Some would call them secret societies, but there are groups of men that's out here doing positive things, and they're just together. You know, sometimes they buy up the neighborhood and revamp the neighborhood. You know, these are things that a lot of guys who haven't fallen victim to the street life, this is what they actually bring. Street guys, gang bangers, Pookies and Ray Rays, they breed death and destruction. They breed a lot of drama, and that's the main thing that they do. Okay, that's when you think about a street gang, you don't think about anything positive. You think about negativity. You think about fighting, killing, drug dealing, because that is the main activities that a lot of these guys are into. Okay, and you know, when they get in prison, it's the same thing. You know, a lot of guys join gangs when they get in prison and they come out 10 times worse. So Sauce Walka, this was a miss, my guy. This was a miss, brother. Talking about street gangs, it's positives and there's benefits. There's pros. And I have to say, the cons far outweigh the pros, my guy. And the pros aren't really pros. These are things that just human beings are doing. Or if you a man, you would do it anyway. So, kids, stay out of street gangs. There's nothing good about a street gang, because it only leads to two places. And that is to the grave or the penitentiary. Okay? And as we can see, a lot of guys lose when it comes to these gangs. So, stay out the way. Stay out the gangs, man. Get your money. Build a family. Do what you gotta do. You know, just be a man. Be a man. How about that? Instead of being a gangbanger, just be a man. And that's all I want to say about that. It's that guy, Big Soji, Not Useless Podcast. Like, comment, subscribe, share, hit the bell for notification, and we out.